It's Monday Night Football. It's good to be back at Aussie Stadium as the Rabbitohs get ready to take on the Roosters. The Roosters looking for the 1,000th win in the club's history, which of course began back in 1908. Hello everybody, Warren Smith along with Laurie Daly to bring you all the action tonight as Monday Night Football makes its return to the NRL. Laurie, it's good to be back seeing these two foundation clubs in action.
Well, it certainly is, and I think we're in for a ripper of a contest. I think the standard's been set over the weekend. Very intense games of football. The closeness of the occasion brought out the best in a lot of football teams, and I get the feeling that we're in for something special tonight. As we look through the Rabbitohs team, Peachy at the back, wingers Merritt and Mellor, centre combination, international centre combination of Vangana and Hegarty, and the halves combination, Smith and Joe Williams. Big responsibility tonight. I like the look of the forwards. Cusack, captain and skipper up front, Irvine and Asatasi. Then you look at the interchange bench. They've certainly got some big players on there. Nathan Merritt, leading try scorer in the competition last year. The only one of only two players for the Rabbitohs to have played in every game. And he's not a winger that just holds his width. The thing that I like about Nathan Merritt is the fact that he goes looking for the ball. He knows where to put himself. And here's an example. Following a left foot kick there by Joe Williams, middle of the post, and who pops up? Merritt along with the fullback Peachy.
He's missed the pre-season with a neck injury, but he's back tonight, Nathan Merritt. Speaking of back, so is Anthony Minicello in the number one jumper for the Roosters. The rest of their back line there, you saw the forward pack is Beattie, Wing, Nutley, Tupou. Fitzgibbon, of course, the captain in the team's 100th season. And then the bench is Tonga, Miles, Mickey Paya, and also Lupini Paya. The teams there in their tricolours, the Roosters, that is, of course, one last moment to get ready for this clash. They're looking, as we said, for the 1,000th win in the club's history. They had a couple of chances towards the back end of 2006 and couldn't get it done. They get a chance tonight against the arch rivals, the local derby, the neighbours, with the Roosters taking on the Rabbitohs. And for the first time, they'll be playing for the Ron Coote Cup. Of course, the former Australian great who started his career with South Sydney. He moved on to the Roosters and, of course, won many premierships with both those clubs. A real icon in the game, and he'll be honoured tonight with this first playing of the Ron Coote Cup between the Rabbitohs and the Roosters. We are ready, and Monday Night Football is back. It's a floating kickoff. It goes down to Minicello. He gets the first touch. And Chris Beattie, welcome back to the NRL. The former Shark takes it back to the 20-metre line. Craig Wing from dummy half, giving it to Nutley, another former Shark who was back after a season last year in 2006 with Castleford. They work it to the left-hand side. Tupou. What a postseason he had last year, playing 4 games for Australia in the Tri-Nation Series. A surprise selection, but he was a real star for the Aussies as Lewis gets the kick away from Peachy as well. He'll go back down to his own line to pick it up, and he looks up to see red, white and blue jumpers in front of him. And they crunch him there. Fitzgibbon leading the charge with the help of Mitch Orbison. Player on debut, a 19-year-old from a Xavier College student from Ballina. Highly regarded, playing in the 6th jersey after being a back rower for much of his career in the junior ranks. Here's Cusack. One of the co-captains met in a good tackle by Fitzgibbon and also Nutley. Irvine getting out of dummy half. Picks up 8 or so metres. Beattie vigorous over the top to take him to ground. John Sutton wearing that 13 jumper, playing as the lock forward to begin 2007. Williams, a good clearing kick. Picked up by Minicello. We'll see what he can produce tonight at the back, Laurie, because that's really where the Roosters were lacking in 2006.
Yeah, in 2005 he averaged per game 170 metres, but it's certainly a circumspect start by both these clubs, taking the ball forward, getting to their kicking game. And the Roosters, they have gone with a one marker ploy. Expect plenty of variety, dummy half running from the Rabbitohs early in the contest.
Nutley playing it for Wing. Goes to Lewis. He kicks away again into the corner. Mellor going back, playing on that right-hand side. Will happily watch the ball find the touch and goal line. The Rabbitohs will bring it back out to their own 20. Here's David Peachy taking it to the line on that kick return. And just losing the ball there. Perhaps got away with one in that previous set of 6. That's a bit of luck early on for the Rabbitohs. They'll take it away from their own 20. Sutton playing it for Hegarty, who goes on a searching run. He was renowned for it in his time as a Rooster. Here's Asatasi winding up, getting to the halfway line. A good job of shutting him down. Wing was around the legs. Beattie was there over the top with the help of Anasta. Work it forward through Kidwell. 40 metres out from the Roosters line. A couple of minutes gone here on Monday Night Football as Williams again kicks, hoping for this to sit down. It's a well-weighted kick as well. Perrott under pressure to bring it back. He won't make it. They raced up quickly. Smith was there and so was Merritt, and they forced a goal line dropout.
The difference in kicking games. Josh Lewis rolled one dead in goal. Joe Williams gets an opportunity, puts it in the in goal. The South Sydney Chasers are down there. I'm just waiting for the referee to caution the Roosters with this one marker play. Now, the marker needs to stand up in a reasonable position close to the play the ball. Otherwise, he's floating back in no man's land. He can get penalised. And the last man off the ruck is not retreating back to 10. If you're South Sydney players, you'd angle straight back in behind the tight defenders.
The dropout worked well for the Roosters. It was allowed to bounce, and Mellor now plays it on the first, only at the halfway line. Nigel Vangana, another of the key signings for the Rabbitohs for this season. Can he once again be the player he was as a Bulldog before he went for a couple of seasons to the Sharks? Here's Asatasi, good run with some momentum. A legs tackle forced by Nutley. It allowed a fast play the ball, and now Smith gives it onto this left-hand side. Far logo will bump it up to within 30 of the Roosters line. Jeremy Smith at dummy half. He might do plenty of that at times during the game, giving Irvine a break at various stages. Is Irvine now again, waiting for the play the ball from Cusack. Goes to Williams, who puts a bomb in the air. Merritt can jump, so can Haggerty, but flying up above them was Perrott. There was some contact while he was in the air, but the referee said it was okay, and it's play on. Minicello hitting a strong tackle. Irvine was there, and so was Asatasi.
Well, he's had his moments with the ball behind him last year, Sam Perrott. Remember one game against the Dragons where there was a couple of try-scoring opportunities. He got caught in no man's land. He come forward with the line. At the moment, he's just tending to hold back a little bit, letting the centres go forward. Nice offload there by Tupou.
It's Mitch Orbison who will play it at the Roosters' 30-metre line. Perrott going to Fitzgibbon. Runs a long way before he gets to a stationary Rabbitohs defensive line on that occasion. Wing will kick out of dummy half. He shapes as an 80-minute player for the Roosters to begin the season. They have no backup dummy half, and he starts with a kick from dummy half, which sails wide. The Rabbitohs will have it 45 out from the Roosters line.
Well, the finish of the last two set of Roosters 6 have been ordinary. Jet in goal, now Craig Wing kicking out on the full. It just gives the ascendancy in this game to South Sydney. And one thing you can ill afford early in the season is to give a team a sniff. Give them all the possession in good field position. Because as we've seen in the game so far this weekend, you get plenty of possession, you get points.
On the line, Asatasi coughing and up in the tackle, looking for an offload to Irvine. Picked up by Wing, who had visions of launching a counter-attack, but he was grabbed by the shirt tails there by Joe Williams, the halfback. Here's Minicello, searching out of dummy half, picking up 10 metres to get them out of trouble. Wing will keep it rolling to the left-hand side. Here's Anasta, doing what he did so well a couple of seasons ago as a Bulldog when they were battling in 2005, and he's only signed a penalty. He wanted to bounce to his feet and play it quickly. There was a chance, but he wasn't allowed to. Kidwell was there involved in the tackle, so was Nigel Vangana. Paul Simpkins says, boys, you took too long.
Well, it's a great sign for Roosters supporters. Braith and Asta running freely and just tucking the ball under his wing. Not having those responsibilities of directing a team around the paddock. Not having to worry about coming up with set pieces and plays. Just worrying about his own game. And here's Chris Beattie on the attack, 15 metres out from South Sydney's line.
He was good in the Foundation Cup trial match against the Tigers. A couple of offloads for tries in that game from Chris Beattie. Now Wing goes to Anastra. Short ball for Fitzgibbon. He picked his mark well. Jeremy Smith, one of the smaller players on the field, was there next to Haggerty. I'm sure they'll target those two tonight. Here's Anasta, an awkward ball for Nutley, who did well to hang on to it. 4 tackles, got a couple left in this set. Awkward one for Lewis, who did well. Chasing through, there was a chance there for Robertson. Peachy put the ball down. If he wasn't offside on the chase, Orbison, it was a close-run thing, but the pressure told on Peachy, and the Roosters will get 6 more tackles.
Good kick by Josh Lewis. Going to the line, shaping to pass, and then dabbing it on the right leg. There you can see Orbison. He knew what was coming. I've got a question mark on whether he was onside. I think he was just in front of the kicker. Peachy tries to pick up the ball. He knocks it forward, and there's a scrum 10 metres out. Great opportunity for the Roosters.
Remembering, of course, you have to have both feet behind the point where the ball is kicked to be onside, chasing through this season. Minor tweaking of the rule there after much debate about players being on or offside in the past. There's a kick, and you would say, looking at that, he timed it nicely, just onside. Here is Orbison now, going wide to Minicello, giving it to Joel Monahan, who's a real handful, but they got him into touch by centimetres, as it turned out. Good defence in the end, but they continue to ask questions of this left-hand side defence of the Rabbitohs.
Well, I'm sure this is a spot where they'll continue to play and work over. Shannon Hegarty, he's had his troubles when he's defended out in the centres because he tends to race out of the line. Now, in the Charity Shield, he held his line pretty well, and on that occasion, he did the same thing. The support came from the inside. The outside man, he held on to his winger, Nathan Merritt, and only got involved at the last moment. They had trust in their defensive line, which something was lacking last year.
Now a penalty for the Rabbitohs after absorbing some pressure on their own line. They were there for a couple of sets of 6 in a row. David Peachy will find the line here to get them out of trouble at their own end. 8.5 minutes gone. Still no score here at Aussie Stadium in front of a good crowd. And of course, crowds have been enormous across the league in general in round 1. All those red and green jumpers, they've come hoping and expecting to see a much improved effort this season. And of course, what a night to begin it with against the Roosters. They've had some tremendous battles in recent seasons, and we'll see how this one turns out. Very even affair so far tonight. Smith playing it for Irvine. Searches across the field to link up with Williams. It goes to Kidwell. He was a key part, of course, of the New Zealand effort, almost snatching the Tri-Nation Series win last year. So was this man, Vangana. He was a 5'8" for the Kiwis. He's a centre for the Rabbitohs, though. Here's Williams. A ball back on the inside for far longer. He'll play it at the 20 metres. Right in front of the post. Irvine looking for an option on the last. Disorganisation from the Rabbitohs. A mistake, though, from Minicello. Knocked backwards. Parrott picked it up. The Rabbitohs fans aren't happy. They thought there was a knock-on.
Oh, I'm pretty confident there was a knock-on. Anthony Minicello, I think he gave himself up. But in that set of 6 there by the Rabbitohs, Daniel Irvine, twice in that set of 6, had a great opportunity to run. There's no doubt that he's knocked it forward, in my opinion.
It's a knock-on pretty much every day of the week, you'd imagine. Here's Parrott playing it now as wing goes to Nutley. He takes it forward back up towards the 40-metre line. A worrying sign, though, for the Rabbitohs. There they were, 20 metres out, right in the middle of the field on the last play. And Irvine was searching for somebody to pass it to. Here's Peachy trying to get away from wing. He links up with Mellor, who put a step on. He was stopped by Orbison about 8 metres on his own side of halfway. Kidwell again running out of dummy half. Here is a penalty. Paul Simpkins went to the left-hand side of where the play the ball was, but perhaps that was the second marker, floating back, not getting back the 10.
Well, it's something that I'm sure all the officials will be looking out for.
Cusack it is, who bumps it back into the 20-metre zone, the attacking zone of the Rabbitohs. Irvine waiting as he goes back to Kidwell. A little right foot step as he comes to Soliola and also Tupou on that left-hand side. Irvine pointing towards the post. Asatasi is there running the decoy. Williams shovels a ball to Smith. A flat pass to Sutton with not much happening, but he's a danger to offload. There it is to Hegarty. He shrugs away from one before Fitzgibbon nabs him. Peachy waiting at dummy half. Another penalty. Hands in the play of the ball this time. Now for the Rabbitohs, had to take some pressure at their end. Now it's the Roosters' turn. See what they set for here. Peachy floating back to the middle of the park. Of course, the taps have to be taken 20 metres in now as Asatasi steps off that right foot. Cut down, a terrific tackle made by Tupou. Irvine out of dummy half. Second man play again for Williams. Here's Jeremy Smith. Likes to try and chance his luck and take the line on when he gets the chance. He was stopped well there by wing. Peachy, a short ball for Vangana at speed, but he couldn't hang on to it. He was into a gap and through had he been able to grab it.
They tried to work the numbers down a short side, and David Peachey, I don't know whether he was wanting the pass to go to Nigel Vungana. I think he may have wanted it to go to the winger, Paul Miller, who was unmarked. Kenny Dowell had come infield, but Peachey, if it didn't go to Vungana, he opened himself up for an intercept. But he's dangerous, David Peachey, when he gets involved, running the football. He loves to drift across the field, hoping for a defender to come out of the line so he can hit a support runner.
Here's Fitzgibbon, driven backwards eventually by 3 or so, including Hegarty, as Orbison goes to Nutley. He's an honest toiler, isn't he? Will keep putting his hand up to take it forward. Make plenty of tackles at the same time. Well, the pass from wing wasn't a good one. It was knocked on by Beattie. That's if the pass wasn't forward to begin with. They looked a little shaky with the ball in their last few sets, the Roosters. A little conversation between the two of them. Perhaps Beattie wasn't expecting it. He maybe thought that wing was going in behind them.
Well, it's going to take a lot out of their forwards when they peel off a tackle to try and get back in the line. If you're only having one marker, it's a big responsibility for the last man peeling off that tackle to get back 10. I still think South Sydney can expose the Roosters in that area.
Hegarty bounced away from the tackle there of Minicello. Threatened to go a long way as soon as he saw some space in front of him, but they shut him down just in time. Peachey again. Getting the dummy half a lot in attack here as he goes to the line, a little dummy, and then he got away from Nutley. Play on is the call. He's back on his feet. He gets away from Fitzgibbon before straightening again. And Fitzgibbon, with the help of Beattie, got to him 10 metres out. Irvine will go to Williams, running to the line. Got a short ball away to Asatasi. A desperate tackle, a good one made by Tupou. They keep going right. Here's Williams again, showing it. Joey's in. Williams gets the first try for the Rabbitohs. They're on their feet. The owner loves it. The fans are delirious. And they'll play from in front here on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, great work there by Joe Williams. He showed in the Charity Shield at times when he took the ball to the line and he played direct. What a good runner of the football he is. Now, it's his 4th season at the Rabbitohs. He's only played 31 games out of a possible 72, and he wants to make this number 7 jersey his own. And he's going about it in the right fashion. That's great work. The Roosters were out on their feet. They were struggling. And I think Joe Williams, over the past couple of years, has probably wanted to live up to everyone else's expectations. The only one he has to be worried about is himself. Live up to his own expectations. He knows he can play. He knows he's got all the talent. He needs to continue to train hard, work on weaknesses in his game. And I think he's got things in his game, like he showed there. Dummy, run, go to the line, that some other halfbacks haven't got. He's got the speed. Looks as though he's got a good football brain.
Here he is as the rain begins to fall here at Aussie Stadium. Last season, as you can see, just 66% with the boot. That is a real question mark for the Rabbitohs. Their goal kicking could hurt them if their numbers don't improve in 2007. He starts with a tremendous kick, though, from wide out. And the Rabbitohs lead the Roosters 6 points to 0. Here he is showing it again, getting in behind Minicello. Nutley couldn't get across, working from the inside. And they were happy. Nigel Vungana was there, of course. It's a new combination. Looking for some enthusiasm to gel early on here. And they loved what they saw early on.
Well, he sold it with his eyes. He was looking outside. He told a great lie and then cut back on his right foot. Squeezed in between defenders and scored. Now, South Sydney, off the kick-off. They need to make sure that they complete this set, kick it down the other end. Here comes the rain.
It won't be easy, as you say. The rain is getting heavier all the time here. I hope, Andy Raymond, you brought your raincoat tonight or an umbrella or something, because you're going to need it.
Warren, I brought the umbrella down. I could tell it was coming before most here. No longer does my hair get wet. It's my head that was getting wet, and it was getting absolutely drenched. It is pouring here at Aussie Stadium at the moment. Guys, keep an eye out for Jeremy Smith. The South Sydney number 6 got some strapping put onto his right knee. A horrible limp, and he really isn't moving laterally, just running up and back, no direction, and he could be in a little bit of trouble.
But Joey Williams isn't in trouble at the moment. In the rain, he's just kicked a 40-20 for South Sydney. And now they'll have possession just 10 metres out from the Roosters line. You see him there about a metre or so inside the 40, with his greasy field helping the ball skid on that first hop towards the sideline. Minicello was there but couldn't get to it in time, and the Rabbitohs have a tremendous chance here to go back-to-back.
Well, he turned a negative into a positive situation there, Joe Williams. There was plenty of space for Daniel Irvine to run from dummy half, but he went with the call, Joey Williams' call. They've got a 40-20 off the scrum. What player can they put on for us? Nigel Vungana into Minicello. He's equal to the task.
Vungana coming to this open side. Want to test out Minicello and also Soliola, who's still there defending in the middle of the park, as Sutton still going. He's so big and strong, he's hard to get to ground. Eventually they do. 5 metres out as Hegarty takes it from dummy half. Here's Williams going to Jeremy Smith with that taper kick. In behind him, it's there for Vungana. Did he get it down though? He thinks he did.
Take the ground there, mate. Take the dead ball line. Check us off.
It was close. The kick was beautifully weighted though by Jeremy Smith. It was either Vungana or Mello who was going to get to it.
Well, I'm going to go with him. If he thinks he's onside and he's had that type of celebration, I think he's grounded it. Just watch this. A real try scorer. He's in the air. He's over the line. Does he put it down? He gets it down, but does his hands come off the football? This is what we'll look at. Tremendous effort.
Oh, that's good.
That's try. That is a try. He's a try scorer. That's sensational. In these conditions, that is extremely hard to do. Wow, what a play.
It began, of course, with a 40-20 from Joe Williams. Our video referee tonight, Phil Cooley's had a couple of quick looks. He says, try. It is a red and green beginning to this first game of 2007. Nigel Vungana gets his first 4-pointer as a Rabbitoh, and what a time to score it to open up a double-figure lead here midway through this first half.
Well, it's his first game for the club. So on debut, he scored a try last year for the Sharks. Only scored 8 tries. He's played with 3 previous clubs, but he's always been a noted try scorer. And this is why. Give him a situation when he can score, and he invariably doesn't. Pounced on that football. You see him when he goes to score a try in the corner. Looks as though he gets pushed out. The legs will be up in the air. One arm will be over the sideline in the air, and the other one, with the ball in his hands, just places it over the line. 131 career tries.
He only scored 32 tries in 58 games as a Shark. They certainly didn't see the best of him over 3 seasons. He is a tremendous buy for the Rabbitohs. If, as we said at the beginning of the game, he can really find that form he had with the Bulldogs. Now Williams, about 3 metres in from the touchline. More difficult kick than his previous one, but that was beautifully struck. We'll see if he can make it an even dozen here. There's no sign of this heavy rain stopping for the moment at Aussie Stadium. It's a wet beginning to Monday Night Football. The Rabbitohs fans don't care though. It's over the Black Dots. Oh, what a start. Peter Holmes at court. He put his money where his mouth is, and now he's got a smile like a Cheshire cat. He must be loving it up there. What a job they've done in turning around this club.
Well, their first 20 minutes has been great. They've still got to remember, 60 minutes to go. 60 long minutes of football. But the way they're playing, pretty hard to see them going down, even though it's only 20 minutes into the contest. But we know over the weekend, I said it early in the call, with possession goes points. And possession is favouring South Sydney at the moment. And this Roosters side got plenty of great players who can score points. Wings, Minicello's come to mind straight away.
See that possession, 68% for South Sydney. The Roosters have spent a lot of that time in their own half as well. Here's Cusack. Former Rooster himself. Quite a few of them in the Rabbitohs lineup, of course. Picks up plenty of metres there. Here's Fa'alongo working it up towards wing. And also Charles Tonga, who would like to go by Charles these days as opposed to Charlie, is out there now as Chris Anderson goes to his bench. Here's Minicello bringing it back Hasn't played since round 6 of last year. He's lost the ball here. South will get another chance to come at the Roosters once again and extend the scoreline.
Well, they've been put under more pressure. Minicello coming up with a mistake. Here's the fans high-fiving. They can smell blood. Minicello going down. Oh, just a bit of a knee there. It was a sloppy carry, one arm in these type of conditions. Ball security has to be paramount. You've got to sacrifice, play the ball speed. You've got to sacrifice when you're on the ground, that little bit of extra, just so you can slow it down to get yourself to the feet.
Here's Hegarty getting the inside ball from Peachy. Gets up to play and he ran away from the mark and now he'll be penalised. On the first play and he flings the ball. Well, you could hear the referee clearly through our effects microphones at least. Hegarty obviously couldn't hear it, but he bounced back to his feet. Paul Simpkins was saying, play it, play it. He went on with it. The referee had no option but to penalise him.
Well, the Roosters needed that. A bit of possession inside the opposition half.
Mickey Payer is out there. One of the 2 remaining Payer brothers at the Roosters after Galea has gone to the Gold Coast Titans. And here is Tonga now, working it towards the post. 15 metres out from the Rabbitohs line. The ball comes loose, but it was stripped out. Possession coming in real slabs for both these sides in this opening 22 or so minutes as Payer again puts his head down and goes towards the post. Here's Wing to Warburton, who works with his right-hand side, and Nasta has put it down now. The Rabbitohs have it. It'll be play on for the moment. No, it won't, because there was a knock-on both ways, says the referee. But obviously in this heavy rain, the ball becoming very slippery out there. And Nasta put it down as cold as you'd like. It hit him right on the chest.
It was unforced. The ball just going straight to him. There was no pressure applied. Straight into the chest, and Anasta just dropping the ball forward. They didn't need that.
A real let-off from both sides, of course. The Rabbitohs had a good attacking position on the field when Hegarty bounced up and was penalised, and now the Roosters let the Rabbitohs off the hook. Here's Hegarty. He's been keen to get in and take plenty of carries in this first half so far and has done well. Here's Irvine going to the right-hand side. Kidwell's ball deflects off one. Towed forward by Sean Kenny Dow, but it beats him over the sideline. That is a real let-off for the Rabbitohs, and it stayed in play. There was nobody there but the Roosters winger to grab it. Luckily for the Rabbitohs, it will come back to a feed 25 out from their own line.
Well, it was a risky play by David Kidwell, trying to offload the ball 20 metres out from your own try line. And it was a good tackle there, Soliolo. Jamming in. He's a big centre, Soliolo. Had an outstanding Tri-Nation series for the Kiwis. He averaged 20 tackles per game, the most by any centre in the competition last year. Really come up with some big hits. Loves jamming in on the opposition attackers. And John Sutton takes the ball to the line.
He's almost back to the 40-metre line. It wasn't a great play, the ball, and that's been a topic of some discussion over this weekend, with the referees clamping down on players making a genuine attempt to play the ball with their foot, as Irvine from dummy half gives it away to Joe Williams. What a start he's had. Good kick again over Minicello's head, who gets a friendly bounce, the Rooster fullback. Here he is being taken to ground heavily by Asatasi. There must be a fearsome side coming down the field in a game where you're returning from a laminectomy and a disectomy is what he had, Laurie.
Well, you can explain that to our viewers, Warren, but I like the way that South Sydney went down in numbers and they sacrificed their speed. A couple of their players started to get in front and they held back. They knew when you go down, well, they know when you go down to tackle Anthony Minicello, you've got to go down as a unit. You can't go down and try and solve the problem as a 1 or 2 man unit.
Here's Orbison, this 19-year-old, fending away, playing his first NRL game tonight. Held up in the tackle of Merritt and also Hegarty. And Nasta has a huge boot on him. He puts it high in the air. It can't be easy to take with the raindrops coming down, looking into the lights, and Mellor had absolutely no idea where it was.
That was massive. It was one of the biggest kicks I've seen. And it was spiralling. and it was moving. And Miller, you're right, had no idea. It went dead for him.
He's not in his own there, because here at training the other night at Aussie Stadium, when the Roosters had their final run here at their home venue, and Nasta was putting out bombs for Anthony Minicello, and even Minicello, as good as he is under the high ball, didn't get close to a couple of them. Such was the spiral on the kick from Anasta. Here's Asatasi going up towards Soliola and also Paya. Nate Miles is also out there now, getting his first run on in the NRL for the Roosters, one of their key signings, of course, for 2007. Kidwell looking for a penalty. Williams with the kick. Will come down to Perrott, who leaps to the air to take it spectacularly. He'll bring it back out, but a good chase team down the park from the Rabbitohs, and they stop him just inside the Roosters 20.
Well, another impressive part about the Rabbitohs defensive line, yes, their forwards do come out off the line a little bit harder than what they have done in the past. But it's their outside men which are keeping their shape and formation. At times over the last couple of years, Hegarty, Vangana in particular, love the race out of the line. But they haven't done that tonight.
Here's Anasta putting a left foot step on a ball for Minicello. He put it down, but it was forward anyway. It won't be the last time we see that particular play. It's what they've missed for most of last year. Minicello's ability down the middle of the park to just take popped passes like that from the forwards. That one was forward. With the rain, discouraged by the fact that Minicello was away had he hung on to it.
And with the rain coming down, the field starts to become slippery. And any change of direction, when you get the opposition moving across the field and you cut back when you've got the football, it's hard for them to grip and come back and make shoulder tackles.
Vangana will play it for South as they work it down this left-hand side. Here's Scott Geddes, a player who's had so much bad luck with injury. Hegarty now out of dummy half again. Another good run of 10 metres and a fast play the ball as well. They'll go out of dummy half. Rigon giving it to Williams. Now Smith. Second man ball for Peachy. Floating over the top. He took a chance again. Had Kenny Dow come up with it, they weren't going to catch him. He'd have gone 75 metres to score for the Roosters.
Well, he's shown us a couple of times tonight, Kenny Dow, what he's prepared to do, and that's to get in the faces of the opposition and say to the ball players, look, if you want to go over the top of me or behind me, well, the pass has got to be a good one, because I'm going to be here all night, and if you're sloppy with your execution, I'm going to pick it up.
Here they come again from the 20-metre line, the Rabbitohs, leading 12 points to 0.
One now, one square.
Peachy. Play it back as it comes to the left-hand side. They go to Luke Stewart. Jason Taylor waited a long time to give his bench forwards a run. Longer than Chris Anderson certainly did, as Geddes from dummy half gives a ball away. He takes it down to within 5 metres or so as Rigon waits there at dummy half. He goes to Williams off the right foot. He slipped underneath him. He lost the ball in doing so. Minicello was there making the tackle on him, but he's looking dangerous, isn't he? Trying it, his luck, trying to get underneath him on this occasion. He might have lost his footing in doing so. Minicello had him covered. As you can see, the ball just squeezed away from him as he hit the turf there.
Well, again, getting the defenders to go with you and then cutting back.
Ball in, ball in. Out.
It's hard to defend any cross plays, any change of direction.
Possession there still massively in favour of the Rabbitohs. A 2-to-1 ratio their way as Fitzgibbon will play it here in the tackle of Stewart. Perrott getting out of dummy half. Looked up and saw Geddes. Rigon was there also, and so was Kidwell, who you would fancy will play a lot of minutes for the Rabbitohs this year. Here's a ball juggled by Nate Miles. Impressed everybody in the pre-season with his form and the 2 wins they had against both the Tigers and also the Eels up there at Gosford. Play it here as it comes from wing. Away to Paya. He fends away from Williams. He's defending on that right-hand side with Smith and Hegarty on the left-hand side. And now Anasta again. He put it high in the air. An end-over-end kick this time, an easier one to take, and Peachy makes a good job of it. He looks up and sees plenty of red, white and blue in front of him, and they stop him just outside his own 20-metre line. Merritt Let Heaney do most of the work from dummy half on this left-hand side of the field. Of course, returning from a neck injury himself, playing for the first time this year. Here is Hegarty. The ball away down low, but it was well held. Picked up there. They'll play it just outside their own 40. Longo playing as it comes still on that right-hand side. Geddes again. Down quickly to meet him as well. Wing was there with the help of Tonga. And now Ringon finding them flat at the defensive line. A good run to get some momentum for this last play on the kick. Stewart will give it away to Williams, who just chips it in behind them, down towards the rookie, Sean Kenny-Dow. He picks it up and brings it back in one hand for a moment there before he saw Vungana and Kidwell looming up, and then he decided that discretion was the better part of valour on that occasion. Soliola now giving it to Miles again. A season in 2006 he had, of course, breaking into Origin football as Danny Nutley gets ready to come back on for the Roosters. Tonga play it back to wing. Comes to Orbison, gets the ball away to Monahan. Merritt came in off the wing to try and shut it down right there. He did that with the help of Geddes. Play number 5 for the Roosters. Nutley back out there now, winding up and going at them as hard as ever. Wing. Give it to Josh Lewis, who puts another bomb up. A floater this time, an awkward one again for Mellor. He got to it, but under pressure from Soliola, he put it down. Sean Kenny-Dow was taken high by Nigel Vungana. He's okay, the winger, as they race downfield. He's back to his feet. Nigel Vungana, of course, has had his suspensions in the last couple of years for high tackles. He needs to be careful. Has a bit of a history as far as the judiciary is concerned. Here he is stepping up and making the tackle. It wasn't a vicious one, just a cuffing around the neck.
Well, it is a cuffing motion. He loses the ball. Kenny-Dow on debut for the Roosters tonight. It gives them good field position to start their set of 6 from. But I know it's a tactic that they should continue to use. High ball on 5th plays.
That was a great bomb from Lewis. They've had a couple of chances to score points, but come away empty on those occasions. Here they are again, a couple of metres away. Wing. It goes through the hands of Lewis. A second man ball to Minicello. The pass was just behind Joel Monahan. Either he or Perrott was going to score, had the pass been a good one. Perrott will give it to Anasta. He goes to the line. They'll come in numbers though to meet him. Jason Taylor spent a lot of time working on the Rabbitohs defence. It's been good so far here tonight. Wing. Go to Orbison, off the left foot. Back to the middle of the park. An awkward one for Wing to handle. He goes past Fitzgibbon to give it to Perrott with Monahan outside him. A little flick ball out the back to the former Raider. He's only a couple of metres out. Play number 5 again for the Sydney Roosters. Fitzgibbon, the captain. Off the left foot, almost stepped in between them. But they hit and they stuck. He'll play it to Wing on the last. It comes from Anasta. Away to Lewis. He shows it, took it to the line himself. What a good tackle made by David Kidwell.
Great tackle by David Kidwell. He's been impressive tonight with some of the work that he has done. Their back row is one of their strengths for South Sydney.
In between.
Far logo as they give away a penalty, John Sutton and David Kidwell. And their formation when they're defending their goal line is very good. At times last year, you drive it into, to say, the middle of the post or just to the nearest post. And if you kept going, they're always caught short on numbers. I think Jason Taylor's give the back row the responsibility of drifting a little bit further out to get the numbers to come with him. And it's been very effective tonight, their goal line defence.
They've done a super job so far. Here's Rigon at dummy half, a bit of a mousetrap play as Vungana picks it up and goes himself. Now dragged backwards 5 or 6 metres on this greasy turf. Tupou was there, so was Beattie and Nutley. Both the front rowers getting 2 stints in this first half. I'm sure Chris Anderson has his thoughts on the forward rotation after having 3 years to think about it. Now Kidwell, after saving a try, trying to set one up here for South as he takes it down to within 30 of the Roosters line. Hegarty again out of dummy half, going with this one marker in operation. He was almost away. He plays it quickly to Rigon. They've got them going backwards. Williams to the line. Second man ball for Smith. He stands. It comes back to Merritt. He's midfield. A short ball for Rigon. He lost it at the final moments. He could see the line but couldn't hang on to it.
Great tackle by Sam Perrott on Rigon. Merritt coming infield. Rigon hitting the hole. And there's your right winger infield making a tackle. That's a try saver. South Sydney, if they continue to run from dummy half or push their forwards into that tight space behind the ruck, there are plenty of yards or penalties to be had.
Here's Anasta eventually getting back to his feet to play it as they work it away through Soliola up towards the 40-metre line. Good tackle there, Rigon. Giving away some weight to most of the forwards he comes up against, obviously. Real crunching job there on Soliola. Peachy picks it up in that loping fashion of his. He's got Mellor with him. Gives it away to the veteran right winger. Almost got away from the tackle there of Lewis. Nutley came in late. He just got there in time as Rigon. There's a short ball away to Sutton. It was a bit of a hospital pass, and he was able to step away from Nutley. And Nutley went down, trying to leapfrog Anthony Tupou there, his own player who was at marker, as though he'd hurt himself for a moment, but he's okay, it seems. Here's a ball coming loose from Merritt. Play on is the call, and 6 more tackles is the signal. Sutton got a ball away. Back on the inside, there was a chance for South. Kidwell was there, but he couldn't hang on to it. There was support everywhere as well.
They were coming from everywhere. He couldn't hang on to it. David Kidwell. Well, great effort by Anthony Tupou. He came up with 3 marker triple plays. Worked hard from marker.
Here's Wing, still going from dummy half. He gets them down inside the Rabbitohs 20. As it comes from Nutley, away to Josh Lewis. He goes wider still. Nate Miles has had the ball lost. They thought there was 2 of the Roosters, but the referee disagreed, and Peachy has it. They're doing everything right on their own goal line. Now Mellor, a good run again. Now Stewart brings it up towards the 40. Williams already with 140-20 kick. It proved to be crucial because they scored off the back of it. And Jeremy Smith supplied the grubber for Nigel Vangana. Rigon waiting for the Geddes play the ball. Here's Williams just outside the 40. I won't mind if it finds the line here with only a minute and a half left on the clock in this first half. Minicello picks it up. He's been well contained by the Rabbitohs, as have all the Roosters danger men for the most part. Monahan getting out of dummy half is grabbed by Williams. He hung onto him like a terrier, but he got the pass away. They come back to the left-hand side, and Nasta standing there. Just over a minute or so for the Rabbitohs to hang on here and keep their sheet clean. Kenny Dow will play it back to wing. He goes to Nate Miles, looking for a short ball to Beattie. Chris Anderson mentioned in the off-season perhaps he could find some momentum in a game he believes is now choked down by using short balls through the forwards, but there hasn't been too much evidence of it tonight so far in these slippery conditions, as Peachy again gets to it on the full and fends away from Anasta. He beats Beattie, got away from Soliola as well. Here he goes and picked up by Nutley. Oh, he's in a dangerous position for a moment there with the 2 former teammates get up smiling about it. He held on to him at the crucial moments.
Oh, I'd like to have a look at that again. He certainly was in a dangerous position. I think that's all you need to be in a dangerous position. Doesn't matter whether you land on your head or not. And to me, that's dangerous.
It would have been a penalty most occasions. Now here's a ball, a chance for Lewis. 5 seconds on the clock. The Rabbitohs might have one more play to hang on for. Williams wants to hear the siren. There it is now. Minicello will put a kick in. Over the head of Mellor. He gets back to take it on the full. He should take it out of play or at least force it. That's exactly what he'll do. And wait till you hear this reception from the South Sydney fans. their team. After the opening half of football for them in 2007, they've kept their line intact. They've scored 2 tries themselves, and they lead the Roosters 12 points to 0.
It was always going to be a big ask of Minicello, though, coming straight back in and hitting the ground running. Braithwaite, Anasta at times, has taken the ball to the line, come up with a couple of errors. But still, when he runs the football, he looks quite dangerous.
He'll test them out, of course, in this second half after almost putting Minicello away during that first 40 minutes. Lewis will get us back underway. On Monday Night Football, the Rabbitohs on track at this stage for a first-up win. They haven't won first up since re-entering the competition, of course, back in 2002. Geddes playing it as it comes to Stewart. Works it up towards the 30-metre line. Stopped there by Nutley and Miles. Rigon from dummy half. Going into Kidwell. Now Witters. Only played the last 5 minutes of that first half after waiting a long time. He replaced David Farlongo. And now here's Rigon again, getting out of dummy half. Exploiting that one-marker system still being used by the Roosters. You see Nutley there standing on his own at marker, floating back into no man's land also. And could easily be penalised by the referee if he wants to be pedantic about things for the Roosters.
It's like the way that Dean Witters got the ball. He's been sitting there for a while. A couple of minutes in the second half. Didn't have any touches. The first touch he gets in the second half, straight back into the tight spot. Easy 10 yards, quick play the ball. Rigon was out of dummy half.
It's Tupou on offload, mid-tackle, got it away to Perrott, who was grabbed there by Scott Geddes. Wing to Josh Lewis, who goes to Miles. He stopped just on his own side of halfway. Minicello in the dummy half, and Lewis will kick from the halfway line, a grubbering effort down towards Nathan Merritt. He scored those 22 tries in just 24 games last year for South Sydney. Of course, it eventually led to him being selected for the Prime Minister's 13 game against Papua New Guinea. And here's Hegarty again. He'll pick up an enormous amount of metres tonight if he keeps running out of dummy half. This one marker situation that he faces, he'd be loving it. Luke Stewart goes to Rigon. Here's Geddes now. A little tip on at the line for Witters, who did well to hang on to it. Soliola was up in his face. He's a very large centre, and he put quite a hit on Witters, as well as Vungana goes the short side. Miller comes in away from the sideline to be grabbed there by Kenny Dow and also Anasta. Rigon's pass to Williams. Goes wider still to Jeremy Smith. It's a kick away, perhaps off the side of the boot. It really did nothing. It didn't go too high, didn't go too long. And now Kenny down off the back of a poor kick. Brings it back for a good return outside the 30. Here's Wing going one way, cutting back the other. Played his best football, of course, some years ago. And he was a regular member of the Australian side under the coaching of Chris Anderson, who relinquished that job at the end of 2003. Nothing. We'll play it for him. Comes through Anasta. Away to Nate Miles. A solid tackle once again. Hardly a line break in the game so far from the Roosters. As Anasta goes forward once more, putting his body on the line to get them in good position just outside the 20. They're played in front of the post as Wing goes back to the right-hand side. What have they got here? Another bomb it is. It's worked for them at times so far in the game. This one, though, tapped backwards by Joel Monahan, and they're waiting for it. They did very well to come up with possession. The Rabbitohs all hung off it, coming up with it there. Now they get a penalty as well. It was Jeremy Smith who got the ball off the tap back by Monahan, and now Tupou gives away a penalty. The Rabbitohs will work it away from their own line via the kick.
Well, Tupou works hard when he gets into that marker situation. In the first half, there was a couple of times where he pulled off doubles, and at one stage came up with a triple. But you need to be careful. You need to be careful that you don't go too early. But it was a poor end of the set of six for the Roosters. Josh Lewis had plenty of time. Came off the side of the boot. You've got to get better ends to your sets. You've got to be able to build pressure with your kicking game. And it's not a great way to start the second 40 minutes.
Come to Luke Stewart now, who shuffles up towards the 40-metre line. He's taken the ground there by Soliola and also Miles. Peachy goes to Scott Geddes. Rigon waiting at dummy half as they go to the left-hand side again. Here's Williams. Stopping a good solid tackle by Nutley, who hit him cold. The ball comes to the right-hand side though, through Vungana. Now Peachy putting a kick in. It was unlucky, Peachy, because it screwed straight towards Anthony Minicello. Had gone straight or maybe even the other way. Then Mello had a play, and now here's the fullback being dragged backwards in a strong tackle by Witters and also Vungana.
We don't see that happen too often to Anthony Minicello. Wing out of dummy half. Probably needs to do a little bit more dummy half running in the second half, but they've given away a penalty.
A sleeper in and around the play the ball as Wing got his way out of dummy half. You could see Danny Nutley there coming into contact with Nigel Vungana as Wing was almost away. And Nutley was the sleeper, if you like, interfering with the defence, hence the penalty. And the Rabbitohs have a golden chance here to make it 14 points to 0.
Well, Joey Williams, the way that he's been kicking would suggest that he will get this conversion and extend the lead out to 14 points. And the Roosters then have to score 3 times at least in the second half.
That won't be easy against this committed Rabbitohs defensive line on a slippery night. Roosters put a fair few balls down in the first half. Rabbitohs had 27 possessions in that first 40 minutes. That's an amazingly high tally. Now Williams from about 8 metres to the side of the post. Kick 2 from out of that right-hand side from much more difficult angles in that first half. This one is the easiest of the 3 kicks he's had so far. He sticks it across the black dot again. And they lead 14 points to 0. There's some time to come still, but if they can go on with it, there'll be quite a celebration from those fans tonight. There's the Roosters bench. You can see in the first half, Craig Fitzgibbon played all but 5 minutes of it. Tonga and Mickey Paya played just 12 minutes each. Interesting use of the bench from Chris Anderson when Nutley and Beattie came from the field in the first half, and then they both got back out there before half-time came around. Ordinarily you'd see perhaps one of the front rowers do that. Usually both. We'll see how the forward rotation works in the second half. Here's Merritt giving it away to Geddes, who will bring it back out towards the 20. 14 points to 0. Cusack stopped in a solid tackle again, and no surprise once more that it was Danny Nutley. He's picked up in the NRL where he left off, of course, back in 2005. What a worker he is. Stewart.
Stay square.
Rigon still doing the honours from dummy half. Here's Witters again, bouncing away, going back in behind the play the ball area. Needed a good tackle. Guess who made it? Yes, Dean Nutley. Williams kicking from the halfway line down towards Minicello. Took a 10 out from his own line, but again, the chase is a good one. Certainly nothing wrong with Anthony Minicello's back in this comeback. He came back to the line there and really sped up as he hit them, but Vungana was able to handle him with the help of a couple of teammates. Sean Kenny down. The former Clavelli Crocodile. Kiwi junior who came across the Tasman to try his luck as a 16-year-old and playing here in his 3rd season with the Roosters. Now Beattie going across the halfway line. He certainly can get some roll on for them. Here he is, a fast play the ball to wing. And Nasta cutting back to the open side of the field, linking with Lewis, but Smith, with the help of Sutton, was there to shut him down. About 28 metres out from the Rabbitohs line. Wing again to Anasta. Another high kick. End over end for Peachy, who'll go to the air and take it nicely. He's been super solid, hasn't he?
Well, he is safe at the back, David Peachy, although at times he can be a little bit of a heart attack material for you. He can come up with those plays that are coach killers, but he makes things look easy. Just goes about his business. Mello, great ball
to Williams, into into space. Miles can't go with him. He shepherded him to the right-hand side. Vungana got there, and then Williams put a kick in. It might still work. Lewis is there. He'll take it across the dead ball line. And the Rabbitohs will get 6 more tackles after the goal line dropout. It might have been a good thing they didn't score there, because I'm sure Vungana was in an offside position when Williams put the second kick in. But what a lovely ball.
Great support play by Joey Williams, and that's something that a halfback has to do. Minicello makes a little bit of a fumble. The second kick coming from Joe Williams, but Josh Lewis got himself back in a position to save the day for the Roosters. But a great run and offload by Paul Mellor. He went looking for the ball. He didn't just wait out there on the right wing.
Josh Lewis, dropout, will fly to 55 metres from the goal line. And now Geddes brings it back towards wing, and Anasta. Also there is Miles. And a repeat set pressure in the first half. The Roosters cracked a couple of times. We'll see what the Rabbitohs can come up with here. Flying out of the line there, Danny Nutley. He was looking for a shot. Now Sutton going to Lewis. Still standing, almost away from him. Grabbed by a bootlace. He plays it quickly for Hegarty. Jumping out of dummy half. He finds Joe Williams, a long ball to Dean Witters. He had Vungana on his outside. Merritt back on the inside. They're just outside the 10. Here's Peachy. Going to Williams. He gives it to Cusack. He's stopping a good tackle by Tupou. His defence has been first class tonight. Rigon again. Going to Williams. They stack the left-hand side. Picked up by Minicello. He did very well and brought it back 10 metres into the field of play at the same time.
A good goal line defence there by the Roosters. They pushed up, they held their line, they made the tackles when it was required. And good work by Anthony Minicello, picking the ball up in the end goal. Getting a 10-metre run. Relieving the pressure for his team. They need a big set here, the Roosters. They've had to do quite a number of tackles over the last 5 minutes. Starting to feel the pinch a little bit.
Nutley, a short ball there for Minicello, which got them going forward. Now Lewis gives it away to Anasta. Nothing doing for him there with Fitzgibbon on his outside, so he takes the tackle 40 metres out. He's not happy either. He wasn't expecting it. Certainly nobody was offering himself up as a support player, either inside or outside for Anasta. Now Peachy hopping and stepping and finding a way to stay out of his own in goal area.
Well, there was no real sting when they had the football, the Roosters, because this is the time and place where they need to pick up their intensity, and they force an error.
Fitzgibbon picks it up. He's only a couple of metres out. Wing will quickly go back to the short on, and Nasta tries to use his bulk to force his way over, but he's stopped there by Luke Stewart. Wing goes in behind Beattie. Nutley running out. Rigon was there. So was Roy Asatasi. Still just a metre away. They'll go to the open spaces now. Here's Lewis. A short ball for Tupou. Well handled. Merritt got a hand to it. The referee saw it. And it will be a knock-on against South Sydney. But there was a terrific tackle made on Anthony Tupou there. Sticking with him, Hegarty and also Williams. And the ball out the back. You can see Merritt just getting a hand to it, as Lewis did at the same time, but Merritt's touch was forward.
He went the short pass, Josh Lewis to Tupou. The better play would have been out the back. And if they can get some second man plays happening, I think they can come up with a try here. The Rabbitohs are now starting to jam with their defence. The second man holds a bit of depth. But it's a nice pass. They could have some success.
Wing showing it himself in dummy half. They haven't fallen for a dummy as yet. They haven't looked like cracking the Rabbitohs. Lewis goes to Monahan. Good defence again. Hegarty this time getting up very quickly to put the pressure on Anasta. He rodeoed him to the ground. Then Wing to Lewis. Goes to Beattie. Not quite the runaround from Lewis, but it might work equally as well. Orbison changing direction. He plays it quickly for Nutley. Now Lewis. Minicello coming. They got a foot to it. Dean Witters was there. He stopped the ball getting into the backfield. Don't they love it in the stands?
Oh, they're going crazy. Well, the best that South Sydney have played in a number of seasons. Structurally, they look fine. Plenty of room for improvement. But defensively, they've worked hard for one another, both from the outside and inside. When they've needed to jam in, they have. When they've needed to hold their width and have trust in the man from the inside coming out to help them, they have done that. They've worked hard on the ground. They've slowed the play the balls down.
Peter Cusack is fresh back out there and made a long run then. Low, hard kick, fielded by Sean Kenny Dowell, who comes back out outside the 20-metre zone. The tackle there, or the contact at least, of Cusack. Well, he was called to play it. Well, now the Rabbitohs will blow up and say that was a penalty in the first half against Hegarty. Why wasn't that a penalty against the rookie winger?
Well, I think that was okay. Hegarty took off. Kenny Dowell stopped and went back to the mark.
It's a fine line, isn't it? Here he is. He's certainly been dragged backwards this time, and a strong tackle by Sutton and that man Hegarty. Now Perrott at the halfway line looking for an offload, but Farlongo was over the top. Well, he moved off the mark there. It was touched by Farlongo, but I think the referee said that was even Stevens. It could have been a penalty against the winger. Could have been 6 again for the Roosters. Here's the bomb, putting Mellor under pressure once more. He evaded the charge and the pressure there of Tupou. He's done some work in the back row tonight for Sydney. Mellor playing it for Vangana. Nutt getting up, stopping him 15 out from his own line. Daniel Irvine is back out there. A penalty against the Roosters. They have really hurt themselves tonight in this position on the field. Majority of their penalties have been in that situation. They've given the Rabbitohs the easy way out of their own 20-metre zone a number of times, and here they are again.
Well, you just can't afford to do that. You can't afford tackle one, give away a penalty. And look, there's the kick. They're going to start their set of 6, 40 metres out from their own line. And more than not finish it down the other end of the field. But Denny Nutley, terrific work rate once again. Gets through plenty of work. 24 tackles, 10 hit-ups already. There's another one.
There's another penalty as well. Penalty against the marker for not being square.
So this is where it really challenges you when you're having one marker. Because you tend to get off a little bit quicker. You're trying to slow the ball down. And then you need to probably think about cheating a little bit because you're a bit tired. So you tend to drift towards the side, whereas you need to stay square. Trying to get a little bit of advantage.
He bounces up towards the 20-metre line. Irvine waiting at dummy half. He goes to Farlongo. Williams, as they set themselves for a backline move on this left-hand side. Kidwell showing it outside to Peachy. Hegarty was also there. Here he is again out of dummy half. You know he's going to test them there from that situation. And Nasta was ready for it, and Beattie came up quickly as well. Irvine goes in behind Cusack. Here's Williams. Short ball for Witters. Soliola missed him. It was a strong tackle they made on the line and had to be made. It was made by Danny Nutley. Here is Irvine going. Hung on to by Jeremy Smith from the deflection. Cusack bobbled it. Now he goes for the line. The skip is there.
Cool. On the play the ball.
He's crashed
Let's see what the bloke
across.
who played the ball did, whether he comes through on the clock.
We'll wait and see, though, whether there was an obstruction around the play the ball.
Well, they kept the ball alive and they kept moving forward. And then it went back to Peter Cusack. He said, I know what to do with it. 5th tackle. I'll take it forward. There you can see. Well, I think Witters was an obstruction, but I think he's out of the road now. Jeremy Smith gives the ball back to Cusack, and then he just finds a hole. But I've got no doubt the first play here, there is an obstruction for Tupou.
Dean Witters was there, right in his face. Tupou came again after Witters was there. Cusack had 3 or 4 stabs at it. Eventually came up with it. Good footwork by Jeremy Smith as he was being swung to the ground there by Fitzgibbon. Well, there's no dramas with the put down. Part of the play in question is the first bit where Witters is right there. Here it is again. He plays it. He's entitled, of course, to stand his ground. He didn't move off his line or out of his way from his position. I'm going to say this is going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's okay, given the fact that they didn't score where Witters was the obstruction. There was 2 more passes on the end of it. And after the obstruction, Tupu was able to get out, rejoin the line, but I think he overchased. He didn't push forward and move across. He just went directly across. When it popped out the back, straight to Cusack. Here it comes. No try penalty.
No
There you go.
try and the penalty. Well, that is a surprise. The Gladiator doesn't like it. They're stunned, those fans. And now their feelings come to the surface. It was never going to take too long.
Well, there was an obstruction, but I thought it may have been given because of the fact that a couple of plays and it continued.
Witters can't disappear, and he certainly didn't move in the direction of a defender. He played the ball and they came to him. But of course the obstruction rule has been tweaked in the off-season, and perhaps it was felt that the dummy half somehow used Witters as something of an obstruction to Tupou and others around the marker position.
Well, I suppose it's like the 10-metre rule when you're inside the 10 from a kick. Even though you play no part in it, the eyes are taken away, and Tupou, he may not have adjusted properly to come across and made that tackle because he was obstructed by Dean Witters, but we'll never know.
Well, if that's the case, we're going to see plenty of penalties in similar positions in 2007. Now the Roosters through Anasta. Put it high in the air as the rain comes down again once again at Aussie Stadium. Merritt has put it down. Lewis picks it up and the Roosters are on the ball. It took a mistake from Merritt to give them a chance. Lewis couldn't believe his eyes when it came back towards him. And what a turnaround this is. The Rabbitohs denied a try at the other end of the field. The Roosters get the penalty. They go down 100 metres and then Lewis scores for them. He might have been hurt in doing so.
Well, in round 1 last year, there was a similar event take place when South Sydney were going great. It goes back to the play the ball, Irvine. And there you can see Dean Witters involved. I think he checks Tupou, and then it goes down the other end of the field. They put the ball in the air. Merritt drops the football, and the Roosters pounce. And it was similar in game 1 last year. The Rabbitohs were leading. Ben Walker was taken out of play, and all of a sudden the momentum of the game swung. There was a try disallowed, and then the Roosters took control of the game. Quick conversion, it's 14-6, 20 minutes to go. Have the Roosters got something special left in these last 20 minutes?
They're on the board after an hour. And that man has renewed hope. The kickoff is an awkward one. Here's Minicello giving it away to Nutley. He brings it back out 10 metres from his own line. Let's go downstairs to Andy Raymond now, who has one of the Roosters with him.
And a very happy Rooster, an amazing 12-point turnaround. You're finally starting to relax a little, Ashley Harrison.
Yeah, mate, it's very nerve-wracking down here. I mean, I think in these conditions, whoever can hold the footy and mount a bit of pressure will win the footy game.
Souths have had a majority of the football. It's almost impossible to win a game when the odds are stacked percentage-wise against you like this.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we've had our chances down their end and dropped the footy on first tackle, so we can get up the other end and hold the footy and mount a bit of pressure on these blokes, so they'll start to crack.
How's the injury? Round 7, round 8 perhaps?
Yeah, hopefully everything's on track. So fingers crossed it keeps progressing the way it is, and yeah, I can't wait to get back out there.
Thanks for joining us, mate. Go and enjoy the next 18 and a half.
No worries, tough.
Ashley Harrison with Andy Raymond. Harrison last year snapped his anterior cruciate, his medial and his posterior ligament. As a result, he's missed the start of the season. We'll see what stage he can make it back. There'll be some time for him, though, as the Rabbitohs now work it away from their own 30-metre line as Irvine works it up towards the mid-stripe. He'll play it back here to Hegarty. He has feasted on this one-marker situation. So Charles Tonga floating a long way back there from the traditional marker position. He could have easily been penalised there. He was in no man's land without doubt. Now Asatasi. He's 30 away from the Roosters line when he plays it here. Irvine to Williams. Can they respond to the piece of luck by Lewis to come up with the ball? And now a tap back from Mellor goes to Anasta. Luckily, Witters was there for the Rabbitohs to wrap him up. Kenny Dow was thereabouts. So was Soliola. And here is the rookie winger on his own side of halfway. He'll play it back to Craig Wing. He gets out of dummy half. Second man ball for Josh Lewis. They point, floating and sliding. Minicello hung on to it before he was crunched by a Rabbitoh defender and coughed it up.
Well, it was building nicely there for the Roosters. Lovely second man play, Josh Lewis. Nice footwork off the right. Minicello back in support. The pass went behind him a little bit. If it had went to the chest, there could have been something on there for the Roosters. But they continue to come at South Sydney. Now from the turnover, South Sydney, their main priority is to get to the end of the set and come up with a decent kick.
Hegarty again from dummy half this time, going to Joe Williams, who gives it off to Asatasi. It's a safety first set of 6 after the changeover of possession. Irvine wanted it quickly. Now he goes to Williams. Jeremy Smith getting away from the Anasta tackle, but Tupou was there to lock him up with the help of Craig Wing. Last play here. Can they get a repeat set of 6? Williams' kick isn't a great one. Merritt's out there. He was blocked nicely. Josh Lewis did a good job to help out Sam Perrott. Perrott came up with a catch in these trying conditions tonight as Joel Monahan works it away from dummy half.
Yeah, the conditions haven't helped, but the formation of both teams, when they go from defence to offence, there's a lot of area of improvement left in them, because they've just tended to run from dummy half, try and get the cheap yards, and teams are starting to compress up right to the edge. You can see there the space. Jeremy Smith is covering half the field along with his centre and winger. There's opportunities if you're prepared to use the football.
Good tackle by Hegarty on Charles Tonga. Hegarty might have been hurt, though, in stopping the front rower. Another bomb. A difficult one for Mellor again. It came off his chest. Minicello was there. So was Irvine, Peachy and Merritt. A knock-on, though, against the Rabbitohs. No, against the Roosters. It will be a Rabbitohs fee. Mellor flew for it. Apart from Paul Simpkins' angle, he said it was a knock-on by the Roosters. Fitzgibbon, and Anasta can't believe it. He goes to the air. Tupou was thereabouts. Paul Simpkins had a terrific view, but he was in a direct line with the contact.
Oh dear.
Merritt might have knocked it on at the end there. Here's the tackle again by Hegarty as Tonga comes steamrolling down the field towards him, and he got the full weight of the forward on his chest as well.
Big play. That's a massive play. The Roosters would have been on the attack.
Asatasi instead has it for the Rabbitohs. He plays it to Irvine. Goes away to Kidwell. That trademark body movement of his. Plays it quickly for Hegarty. He's okay. He's off again to the races this time. He almost got away from Soliola. Peachy's there waiting at dummy half. Witters is there. He gives a lovely ball to Nigel Wagner, and what a tackle from behind it was made by Braithen Astor. But he gives away a penalty and spins in anger at the referee. What a grab from behind. Wagner was away. It could have been the game, but they still have it. And they'll find the line. They'll be 10 metres out in just a few moments' time off the back of this.
Lovely ball there by Dean Witters. Goes that over his line and draws in defenders. He attracts them, Dean Witters. He enticed wing in and then gave a lovely short pass to Vanga. Great tackle though by Braithen Nasta. Here come the Rabbitohs.
From Williams to Smith. Comes to Kidwell, who fends away from Josh Lewis. Monahan is there. So was Orbison. He got to the line, but they drove him backwards a couple of metres. Hegarty now, waiting for it. Spins the ball to Smith. Asatasi says, I know the way to go. Straight and hard, wing or hanging on, but only just. He gets up to play it to Irvine. There's a chance on this right-hand side. Williams to Peachy. Lovely ball to Vangana. He gets his second, and the Rabbitohs are on their way. He was denied a moment ago by Anasta, but there was no stopping them second time around, and the platform was laid by the hit-up from Asatasi. The key off-season signing for the Rabbitohs. Gave the back line the space to move in. He played it quickly, and they came to the right.
Well, he went to the middle of the field, Asatasi, and dragged the numbers in. He pulled them from inside and out, and then he got up and played the ball quickly. And that just allowed the Rabbitohs to sum it up. They had players pushing into space. They had good formation, second man play. And Vangana gets a double on debut for the Rabbitohs. And is that the match winner?
Only 8 tries in all of 2006. Already he has 2 tonight. And there are signs already that there's a real spirit amongst this new-look Rabbitohs lineup. Nigel Vangana has that glint, that try-scoring glint in his eye once again. Asatasi, his actions have spoken volumes. And off the back of it, with the dominant forward pack in front of him, Joe Williams has become the halfback perhaps that the Rabbitohs had been hoping he could be for them. They are nervous watching on up high, aren't they? They know they're close. Just over 11 minutes to go. Williams going to keep his perfect record intact. Every kick from the right-hand side tonight. Every kick has been a good one. This one was also good, but it just missed to the right-hand side. And so the difference remains an important 12 points and 12 points only. He could have just about put the Roosters rather out of commission had that got the flags in the air. Here he is again, though. A lovely ball to Peachy. And he drew and passed. Kenny Dow was up, caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. And Vangana had the easy passage to the line. It was an off-season that had so much expectation for the Rabbitohs, and it's been an exciting first 70 minutes for them so far. Cusack, play it to Irvine. Far longer. And now international has been very good also. Off the back of the platform laid by Cusack and also Asatasi. Witters. He wants it back up towards the halfway line. They've made easy metres in their first 4 plays, haven't they? And now Williams with a kick. Perrott was back there with Minicello, who did very well on a skidding ball. It was an awkward one at the midriff to take. Then coming forward, Williams was up there in front with Daniel Irvine. Jeremy Smith also getting up, clutching at that right knee of his again. With an arthroscope for a torn cartilage in the pre-season, and he might be struggling with it right now. Here's Anasta. They missed their first game of the trial season against the Sharks up at Gosford. Played the Charity Shield game against the Dragons, but he's struggling out there right now, and we'll see how he pulls up from this effort tonight. Now Perrott got the ball from Tonga. Lovely pass to Minicello, but Witters was able to hit there and stay with him. They're at the 20. Wing goes to Anasta. A grubber. Played at. Knocked backwards there by Jeremy Smith. It was enough to ferry the ball back towards Nathan Merritt, who plays it to Peachy. And again, they've hung on. Jeremy Smith is still down here, getting attention, and he's in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, the referee was quick to spot him down on the ground. The South trainers were calling out, but it looks as though it's cramp.
Grab it to the 20 there, Dave.
Well, he was clutching at his right knee.
Dr. Smith.
Long ago. Now he's got cramp.
You're good. You're real good.
Well, he certainly did have the arthroscope during the off-season, I can guarantee you that. Here's Kidwell playing it. I love an early diagnosis.
Charity Shield, I diagnosed Mark Gasnier with a stinger.
He's out for the season. Well. Asatasi now.
We all can get it wrong once.
Williams with his kick. He hasn't got too much wrong himself tonight. Great effort by the number 7. Minicello it is. He will bring it back out. And again, look at this chase team from the Rabbitohs down there in a straight line, doing little things very well here this evening.
I think that's the key, Warren. The little things in the game. South Sydney are doing well. Their kick chase. They're going down in numbers. Marker defence. They're splitting left and right. And on occasions, they've been able to push forward and place pressure on the dummy half runners. They've numbered up when they've needed to. They've made the adjustments in the defensive line. And I mentioned it before. They've slid well and they've jammed in when they've had to. Very impressive performance defensively. And their wrestle hasn't been too bad.
Lapini Paya is out there getting his first touch of the game. Having to wait 72 minutes before coming off the bench. Another bomb. It's been their main tactic tonight. Peachy flew, couldn't come up with it. Kenny Dow knocked it backwards. And this will be a knock-on against the Rabbitohs after perhaps they got the benefit of a lucky call at a vital stage of this second half before they scored that try through Vungana. Nasta was up there. Made it difficult for Peachy to get to it. There's no doubt who made the contact with the ball on this occasion. So the Roosters aren't without a hope still. Lewis from the back of the scrum. Goes to Warburson. Minicello juggling it, coming up with it, getting a ball away to Monahan. If they can score in this of 6, they will scare the Rabbitohs. Here's Minicello. Orbison going back into Fitzgibbon. Stopped by Farlongo and also Sutton. Wing to Lewis, who is wide. Even wider still to Anasta. He cuts out another one to Sean Kenny Dowse. An early ball for the winger, who is stopped by Mellor a metre out. Soliola to Anasta. He gives it to Tonga. He'll take some stopping. And there to stop him is Stewart, Cusack and also Irvine. Wing from Anasta again, getting plenty of touches. Here's Lewis, the second man ball. Minicello went wide to Perrott. Over the top to Monahan. Peachy got up though and shut him down 10 metres out. Here's Orbison firing it to Lewis. They'll go to the air once again. Why not? Mellor is out there. Nobody gets a touch. Mellor now does at the end and knocks the ball out of play.
Well, there's plenty of sideways movement there of the football from the Roosters. But in all honesty, South Sydney had them covered fairly well. Mellor makes a play at the ball. His team has to make another set of 6. They just haven't looked fluent with their rhythm with the ball.
5.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Here's Anasta coming from the lock forward position at the base of the scrum. They play it a couple of metres away. Wing waits at dummy half. Lewis. Good hands by Orbison to pick it up on the first bounce. He went past Minicello, who was cutting back on the angle. As a result, Monahan was a sitting duck there for Hegarty and also Merritt. Fitzgibbon says, who wants it? And he goes to Orbison. Shows it inside, goes to Wing. He tries to put the foot down and split the bigger men around the middle of the park. But haven't they been good there tonight? Minicello. Lewis, a grubbering kick. This time Mellor has no trouble. He came up with it at the right time. He'll play it 5 metres out from his own line. And now the clock is very much the enemy of the Roosters. They had to score, you felt, in that set of 6 to be any chance.
To give themselves some time. But Mellor coming up with a play. Looked as though he and Vungana may have had a collision. They both looked as though they were going for the football, but the communication has been great all night. They've worked in their units defensively. And it sets up a great clash next week when they take on Parramatta. Of course, Jason Taylor taking on his former club.
That's at Telstra Stadium, Laurie, the first home game of the season for the Rabbitohs, and there is a red and green army out there just waiting to come to great games once again. And off the back of this win, there'll be a big crowd there. Minicello brings it back up towards Williams, who now Bundaberg run man of the match voting must be right up there, Laurie.
Well, he's had a really good game, and he hasn't tried to be the star, Joe Williams. I think that sometimes has been his downfall. Tries to come up with all the big plays. The big plays will come when he gets the little things right in his game. And I think he's done a fabulous job in that regard tonight. His kicking game's been good. Defensively, he's come up with some real good shots. And he's steered the team around.
Here's Lewis going to Cusack. Play it here for Wing. He'll kick from outside the 40 out of dummy half over the head of Peachy, who was playing up pretty close to the line, expecting perhaps a little chip over the top of the Roosters, needing something at the death here. He'll bring it back slowly. And slowly as he's run all night, he'll be happy to use up the clock. Geez, Braithen Astor has tried hard for the Roosters. They've got a lot of touches when they've been in possession. Made a lot of tackles as well, and of course that very important tackle on Nigel Vungana. He eventually scored, of course, a couple of sets of 6 later.
Well, the commitment has been there from both sides. Just one has executed a little bit better than the other. And the Roosters, I'm sure, have got a lot of improvement left in them. I'd be interested to think or to see whether they continue with one marker. And I've got to say they probably will if it's something that they've practiced all off-season. The kick comes down to Minicello and he knocks it back. But you think of any team who may have success against a one marker, and you think of the Cowboys. And the Roosters take on the Cowboys next weekend at Dairy Farmers Stadium. All those little men hovering around the middle, out of dummy half, the likes of Aaron Payne.
We'll see how long the experiment lasts. Here's a chip over the top this time. Perrott is there, he got a toe to it, but Joe Williams was back there covering up. You spoke about him a moment ago. Is he your Bundaberg run man of the match?
Well, I think he's been the best player on the field. I think he's been the most influential player on the field in a tight contest.
We'll give it to him. He wins the first award on Monday Night Football. What an effort from the halfback. Here's Sutton. Kidwell now. He goes to Hegarty just outside the 30-metre line. Just over a minute remaining on the clock as Cusack works it forward. Perhaps a field goal to make it a 13-point margin. Here's Irvine. They won't look for it this time. Here's Witters stepping in behind the play. The ball back to Irvine. Touched by Tonga. That'll be 6 more tackles. The Rabbitohs can lock it up and soak up this last 60 seconds. Kidwell will play it. Here's Irvine. Sutton looking for one more 4-pointer. Comes back from Hegarty now. Williams, the man of the match, giving it to Merritt. Nothing doing for him. He gets away from Wing, comes again, and Wing, with the help of Mickey Payer, stops him. Irvine, out of dummy half. He gives it away to Cusack. Who wants to score? Surely somebody will put their hand up. There's a chance here. It looks like they're more intent on using up the clock for the moment. Irvine comes back. Williams was thinking about a field goal. He looked at the post and put the ball down behind him. He picks it up to go again. He gives it to Kidwell. Here's a chance. Hegarty going to the line. Beat the tackle of Perrott, but the cover got to him. Last play. Kidwell goes from dummy half. He can't get there, but the Rabbitohs have. They win in round 1 for the first time since coming back. They'll be wild, the fans, the owners. the celebrities that are here in South Sydney jumpers as well. They've beaten the Roosters, their arch rivals, 18 points to 6, and taken the first ever Ron Coote Cup.